everybody, it's Black Wave, and I am sending good vibes your way. I am here with RAINSWEPT. As usual, no explanation needed. Let's just get straight into it. Okay. Not something that you want to automatically see. Alright. Like, this is us. Alright, I'm here. Time to see what all this is about. Look at his legs. Terrible. What? I said terrible. Terrible business. All this. This was only a matter of time. Everyone knows that. I know, still. They were so young. Young and stupid, you mean? The stories I've heard. I guess you're right. It was just a matter of time. What? It was a matter of time. It's really coming down today. We should get back home. A few more minutes. I want to see what happens. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna catch a cold, that's all. And let's see if we can talk to this officer. No, we can only look. What's he up to? Ma'am, please, you need to back away a little. What happened here? A murder? Johnny, get under the umbrella. Granny, I want to leave. Can I go back to the shop? Could see this coming a mile away. Ma'am, please. Granny, please. Alright, Johnny, let's go. There's no point standing here. I knew this would happen. We should have done something. Nothing we could have done. Chris is responsible, I'm so sure. Hard to disagree. But let's not speculate. Detective Anderson, right? The chief is inside. They've been waiting for you. You need to control the crowd, officer. You need to push the crowd further from the scene, officer. What? You have to speak up. I can't hear you over the rain. The crowd. Handle them. There could be evidence out here. Oh, yes, I'm trying. Hey, Williams. What the hell are you doing? Trying to prop up this tape, sir. It won't stay. Well, get some sticks and drive them in. Yes, sir. Richard. Don't call for Richard. Richard's on leave. Do it yourself. Goodness. Sorry, detective. Thing is, we're short of manpower here. We weren't prepared for this kind of thing. First time in decades. And to top it off, this rain out of nowhere. Get the crowd under control. I'm heading inside. Yes, detective. Don't worry. Williams. It's a lot of talking. But I can do it. to see what's over here. Nothing's over there. I might have to switch this up and play with a controller. My keyboard's kind of messed up. We inside. Why'd you send me all the way to Pineview for this case? One way to find out. Should I go in? Yeah. Go in. Oh, jeez. That's brutal. Oh, God. That's the sheriff. I should talk to him first. Michael? Huh? Dude, what? Detective, are you okay? I think so, yeah. Guess I'm just a little tired after the long drive here. A little tired? You fell to the ground, my dude. Detective Anderson, right? The head office called in to say that you'd be joining us here for this investigation. I'm Sheriff Harris and this is Lieutenant Watt. We appreciate the department sending help, but I don't think we'll need it. Case is ready to be wrapped up. What do we have here? The victims here are Christopher Green, age 26, died from a bullet wound to the head, looks self-inflicted. And Diane Miller, age 24, single bullet wound through the abdomen. The victims lived together, one married. Any signs of an intruder? No signs of forced entry. The door was locked from the inside when we arrived. An officer climbed through the open window here to open the door. There are no footprints outside that window. Except the officers. He was careful. No signs of struggle or marks on the bodies either. Any witnesses? Just the next door neighbor who claims to have heard a single gunshot. We can interview him shortly. Sorry. Time of death. According to the next door neighbor, a single gunshot was heard around 15 hours. We received a call at about 20 hours and we were here in another 5 minutes. We found them dead upon arrival and confirmed the timing. What do we know about the weapon? Bullet shots were fired from a HEM 1911A1 .45 caliber pistol. The ballistics report will let us know more. Honestly speaking, Detective, we think it's pretty obvious what's taking place here. What do you mean? They had a reputation. They weren't exactly a happy couple. The whole town knows this. Diane was shot at point-blank range with Chris's gun, probably by Chris. He then went ahead and shot himself as the wound is clearly self-inflicted. So you see, sending you here unnecessarily complicates things. I'm going to question their abilities because the reason why I'm going to question their abilities is because if the neighbor heard a single shot and he shot himself in the head, but she has a gunshot in the abdomen, something's not adding up. So I don't understand how it's a closed or wrapped up case when the neighbor, your only so-called witness, said that there was only one shot heard, not two, one. So I'm going to question their abilities. I'm beginning to think it was a very good idea. In fact, it's obviously a case of murder-suicide, Detective. So everything's figured out already? If that was sarcasm, I'll ignore it, but yes, more or less. Are you suggesting there was domestic violence involved? It would seem so. It was never reported, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So, rumors. You may call it that, but where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not sure that, and they were never really able to fit in this town. They were new here, moved in about 6 months ago. Never got out much, didn't make any friends. We don't need to analyze the obvious, detective. That would only be inefficient. Officer Blunt will assist you through the course of your work here. Hello, detective. And one more thing. We're looking to wrap this case up quickly and cleanly. We don't want to drag it if it can be helped. We have an important festival coming around in a week's time, so you might say this is rather bad timing. So there's no need to go around and complicating things, all right? Just give me a story that works and we can close this case quickly. Yeah, sure. Can't wait to wrap this case up. Yeah. All right, then. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Okay, then. Anyway, have a look around the room if you'd like. Come talk to me when you're done. Okay, so I got control. So, a couple of things that I take note of that just seems a little bit weird is the chief wants this wrapped up quickly. They're saying that this couple was new and they're saying that this couple was new to town and they didn't really fit in, but they've only moved in 6 months ago, which, I mean, to me is like if you got a couple that's moved into a town, they don't need to automatically fit in. But see, this is where that Stepford Wives paradox kind of come in. Like, it's this neighborhood that's just this very specific way with how to handle things and deal with things, and if you don't fit in, well, you get cut out. But I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Let's see. Oh, this is why I might have to switch to controller. Hey, detective. Need any help? What's the plan? Have a look around the room. Once you're done, talk to Lieutenant Watts. Alright, guys, so I'm sorry if I take a little bit of extra time getting to the talk dialogue option because I can only use the arrow keys. And look, basically my setup's very minimum right now that I'm dealing with. But, you know, that's what happens when I start a YouTube channel. I don't know if I can turn this music down a little bit. Looks like I can. So let's take a look at the body. What's this? It's signed Chris 69. I'm guessing Chris built some of the furniture around his house. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. 96. I'm so sorry. I'm messing up. I'm sorry. Let's take a look at the murder weapon. M1911 A1 45 caliber pistol. As the lieutenant said, it looks pretty old. You can hold 7 rounds. There are 4 rounds still in here. This means 3 rounds were fired from this gun at some point of time. If 2 were fired last night, where's the 3rd? Was it used on some other day? That gun belonged to Chris, according to Lieutenant Watts. Let's assume Chris or Diane weren't the ones to use it. Is there anyone else that could have known where they kept the gun? From Pineview? I really doubt it. Remember, no signs of forced entry. Could it be someone they were comfortable with? Trusted? No one I can think of. .45 ACP rounds. It's a box of 20 rounds. There are 13 here, which means 7 are missing. 2 were used last night. There are 4 left in the gun, as we saw earlier. If 2 were used last night, there's still 1 unaccounted for. Was that used on some other day? Bullet wound to the head. The skull is badly damaged. Most of the side has been blown off. His body position and the way he fell would indicate that he was sitting sideways on the chair, facing where Diane's body is now. The angle of the shot indicates that he was shot from this side. If someone shot him, they were standing in front of the refrigerator. No clues there, though. Could have been shot from that window. At the moment it's shut. Must get it checked for fingerprints and footprints outside. Could someone have entered and left through here? We should have the fingerprint results in a couple of days, Detective. Don't forget there aren't any footprints outside. If someone shot him from outside, then Chris would have sat facing the refrigerator. That would make sense that way. The killer wouldn't need to enter the house. But in that case, who shot Diane? Stam in hand. Gunpowder residue on his right hand. Hard to disagree with the lieutenant here. This is strong evidence for the victim shooting himself. Unless it was made to look that way. This chair is falling on its back. Looks like Chris fell off the chair before or after being shot. Red wine. It looks like a new bottle was opened yesterday. No one drank from this glass. It would seem that Chris was sitting by himself at the table and drinking wine, waiting for someone to join him. Probably Diane. Whether he was waiting for her or someone else, we don't know yet. A glass of wine was knocked over. This looks like wine, but there seems to be blood in here as well. How did blood splatter in this direction? It doesn't make sense. Officer Blunt, I think there's been more than the 2 gunshots that we're seeing here. Alright, let's see. Can't go any further. Yeah, check the ACP rounds. Check the gun. Alright, so I think we're ready to go on to the next room. Shall we proceed? Yeah, we should. Yes, I'm done. Alright, let's have a chat with Mr. Willis outside. The rain has finally let up. And I have a puff. Okay, I can move. Okay. Nope. That's where my car is. Why is she holding it? Right. This is Mr. Willis. He lives right there, next door. Coffee, Detective? No, thank you. You can ask him any questions you may have about last night. Right, Mr. Willis. Can you tell me everything that you saw or heard during last night's events? Well, see, I'd headed off to bed at around 11 p.m. as I usually do after a glass of whiskey. Helps me sleep, you know. Anyway, somewhere around 12:15 a.m., I'd say, I was woken up by a loud bang. I ran to my bedroom window that looked straight down at their place. And what did you see? Nothing. Their kitchen lights were on, but that's about it. I went to my phone and called Lieutenant Watts here straight away. How long did it take you to get to the window once you heard the shot? About a couple of seconds, Detective. Not more than 5, I'd say. I nearly fell out of my bed when I heard the shot, so you might say I was halfway there already. Did you see any sort of activity on the street? Anything unusual? No, Detective. Everything was exactly the same as always. You said you heard a single shot? Yes, the whiskey usually knocks me out pretty good, so if there had been more, I didn't hear them. Do you live alone? Yes, I do. Never got a. Never got. Okay. Obviously. Obviously, he's Irish. Okay. Yes, I do. Never got married. It's a long story. One meant to be talked over a couple of whiskeys. Know what I mean? Can anyone confirm your whereabouts? I. No, I was just at home, you see. Am I a suspect? It's procedure, Mr. Will. I know Mr. Willis. He's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm gonna react to that, cause what? Who? Nah. We'll need to have a talk later, Lieutenant. Talk about what? Just later, okay? Okay, Sherlock. Whatever you say, Holmes. Oh, what? Did Chris and Diane have many visitors, friends, etc.? No, no, not at all, in fact. And all this time, I only maybe saw Jack coming over to fix their car. And Father Smith came over a couple of times when they newly moved in, a year back almost. Nah, people rarely ever visited them because they mostly kept to themselves, see? Never made any friends here. But sometimes folks don't like those kinds either. So I can't really say, you know what I mean? No. Please elaborate. You won't find anyone crying over their deaths here. Nobody really knew them. They never got out much. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, Mr. Willis? I don't know if this is useful, but you might have heard about Chris and Diane. They looked pretty happy when they first moved in. More recently, though, I heard Diane crying a couple of times, usually late at night. See, the whiskey knocks me out early, so maybe that's why I never heard all this before. But a couple of times I was up a little later. One night about a month ago, I heard pretty bad things. There were some loud sounds like stuff being flung around and such, see? I heard someone crying. I was thinking to myself that maybe I should call the police, but then it quieted down all of a sudden. We never received any calls for domestic violence, but people have often talked of stories of this kind. Can you remember when you heard this, Mr. Willis? Well, I was up late night writing an important letter. I think it must have been somewhere between 1st to 3rd last month. 1st to 3rd September, alright. Anything else? No, that's all I know about this. Right. Thanks for your help, Mr. Willis. We'll be in touch if we need anything else. No problem, and thanks for the coffee. So, Detective, you said you wanted to have a talk later. Is now a good time? Yes, Lieutenant. Please don't tell witnesses they're not under suspicion, especially not in front of them. So, basically, you're telling me that I don't know how to do my job. Is that it? All I'm saying is, this case isn't all wrapped up as you'd like to believe. How can you not see what's right in front of you? It's so obvious. Mr. Willis didn't see anything outside the house after the gunshots, and there are no signs of anyone forcing entry either. On top of that, considering how rough things were between the two of them, you heard what Mr. Willis said, right? The amount of information we has as of now is very little. It's not the complete picture. We need to dig deeper if we want to know the truth and not just confirm our assumptions. Well, what about the door, huh? How was it locked from the inside? Explain that. I checked the door. It locks itself from the inside when you pull it closed. Regardless of whether you pull it from the outside or push it from inside. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that there's no conclusive evidence yet. Well, fine then. Dig as deep as you'd like, Detective. You won't find anything new here. I was perfectly capable of handling this case myself, but of course the head department had to complicate things. In any case, Sheriff Harris will probably want to wrap up this case before the festival, so don't expect him to wait for more than a week. I have to head to the station now. Officer, escort Detective Anderson to his hotel. Will do, sir. We'll come back in the evening to search the house, letters, diaries, things of that sort. Alright. When can we expect the autopsy results? Day after tomorrow, according to the coroner, but I'll confirm and let you know. I'm guessing there were more than 2 bullets shot last night. We should take another look around the kitchen to make sure. 3 bullets, but... We're actually glad that you're here, you know. Although the sheriff and Lieutenant Watts would rather not admit it. Even to themselves. This is like the first murder here in the last 100 years or so. We have no idea how to deal with it. I mean... yeah, that's a surprise. Come on, detective. You don't need to be rude. What? Anyway, as I was saying, I just joined the force a month back, for instance. And the murder already? I'm not sure if I'm ready. I kind of knew them, you could say. I've never known anyone that's been murdered before, you know? It's kind of weird, a bit sad. I know as an officer I'm not supposed to feel that way and all. It'll be fine. Give it time. Thanks, detective. That means a lot. Let's see. What do you know about Chris and Diane? Well, not much. It's mostly what Mr. Willis said earlier. Nobody knew them really. They came in here, kept to themselves. You'd hear stories about them. Everyone thought they were some kind of weirdos. I admit, I kind of agree with that sentiment too. I feel bad about that now. There's no reason to make assumptions about people's character, and character can't be used as evidence. So I'd really like to help figure out what the real story is, whatever it may be. The sheriff said that there's a festival in the town next week. What's that about? Oh, it's an annual thing. We have it every October. There's a fair on the market street. There's foods, rides. We get a lot of tourists from nearby states around that time. It's a good source of revenue for some of our smaller businesses here. That, of course, is less important in the light of recent events. Good to hear you say that. Of course, we can't go around trying to wrap up cases based on our assumptions, whatever the situation may be. I mean, these were people's lives that ended, and it's our job to figure out what really happened. So I guess what I'm saying is, you can count on me during this investigation. Thanks. I'm hoping the local police will let me do the job I've been sent to do, though. I don't mean you, detective. I know what you mean. Honestly speaking, Sheriff Harris is an asshole. I'm serious. He doesn't care about anything except running off home and taking it easy. This case probably ruined his plans to relax and enjoy the festival week. I hate people like that. Lieutenant Watts, though, he's really sweet. I know he comes across a little obnoxious, but... oh my god! I saw her. She was right there. Why am I seeing her? Why am I thinking of her? Okay, so obviously, this detective here has some issues. This town has some issues, and this detective here has his own issues. Alright guys, so I think I'm going to end it here. I don't know how long it is, and this is a lot of talking. A lot of talking. If there is more content, I will definitely have a part 2 of this because I want to find out myself who killed Chris and Diane, because I know that it was not a murder-suicide or suicide. It was not a murder-suicide. So, I want to find out who did it. But I don't know if we're going to find that out in this demo. But anyways, guys, I am Black Wave. I am sending good vibes your way. If you guys want to send those good vibes my way, be sure to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.